Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to our early edition of the empowerment group meeting. We welcome today a friend of mine, Maureen Blöechlinger. And
Exactly.
I got it. She's a poker player. She's a former poker dealer and she's a poker promoter. She's based in Zurich, Switzerland. She's also a member of RecPoker. So we're really happy to have her here today. She is an advocate for women in poker and introduced the first Swiss Ladies Championship in Switzerland and other also more international initiatives, and runs the Globetrotting Poker Ladies Facebook page. And that focuses on travel, I think, for women, but we'll get you to tell us about that outside of the United States for happenings out there. She's also, since 2020, a core team member of the Hertz?
Yeah, Hertz.
Yeah, club. And you're going to tell us a little bit about that. And according to Maureen, she likes to fly around the world and collect hen and mob country flags. So welcome, Maureen. It's nice to have you here. Tell us a
thanks
little
for having me.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about how you first got into poker and how your poker journey has been to get you where you are today.
Yeah, sure. So I'm based here in Switzerland, and we don't have any kids, so we have a lot of free time at nights and at the weekends. So we decided to, go to the casinos here, because casinos in Europe are a little bit different of an experience compared to casino visits in the US. And one night we were playing some roulette. And then in the back room, I was like, oh, look, it's like poker. I kind of know that game from, back at home and, through my grandparents. And then, I was kind of peeking in, and the tournament director came over and he's like, oh, can I help you? And he was like really nice and telling me all about the game. And I'm like, well, what are you guys doing? How much does it cost? How can I play? So he was really helpful. And I decided to go back a couple of days later to play in the Monday night tournament. And from that night, I was basically hooked. So then, playing poker at Casino Baden became a thing. And then I started playing at different poker clubs in Switzerland. Then I also found out that, in Switzerland, there's not many ladies who play. So at the casino, I was like one of the 100 players there. Sometimes a few other ladies would come like with their husbands. So then I was talking to my husband, like, there has to be like, other poker events out there. And that's how I came upon like these ladies events from the EPT. And actually that's how I met Elizabeth. So I went to the EPT Malta specifically to play the EPT ladies event. And that's where I met Elizabeth. Also, I believe June was there too that year. And I met so many ladies and I'm like, oh my God, this is like what I want to do. And, I love poker. These ladies love poker. And then I just started studying more and playing more.
And where's your game today? Like, do you play a lot today? Do you still, COVID has certainly put a damper on the travel and poker. So
yeah, exactly. So traveling for poker was very hard during Corona. And living here in Switzerland, we were going through some regulatory changes during Corona. So until September 2020, we didn't have an official online site back in Switzerland. So the first part of Corona, I really didn't have anything to play for real money. And then I also found RecPoker. So they had this awesome home game. So I was really happy that I could play in the PokerStars home game with RecPoker. And then also our local poker club here in Switzerland, Prestige Poker, we would run nightly games in the PokerStars home game clubs. So then finally, we got our first real money site back in Switzerland, September 2020, iPoker. So yeah. And just about a month and a half ago, we got PokerStars back, real money. So I really also enjoy playing the Women's Sunday on PokerStars, the $22 game. PokerStars also supports women in poker, and there's so much value. I think it was 2 weeks ago. I kind of am losing track of time since I was at King's playing live, but they add like $800 or $900 to the prize pool to give women the chance to play in the W Cube or other special series with a larger buy-in, or have like the $215 online tickets added. So I really like playing that game too.
Oh, that's good. That's great. And let me take you back to that first
Yeah.
TD that helped you and was so helpful. And
Uh-huh.
so if he hadn't been, do you think you'd still be where you are?
Probably not, I would have to say, because then, if someone wasn't there to answer my questions or tell me how things work, I think I would have been a little bit hesitant just seeing that room full of men playing poker and wondering, okay, am I allowed to be there? Will there be any issues, etc. So no,
Right.
he was a great help. Yes.
Do you think that's one of the things that makes it hard for women to enter a poker room today still? They don't always have that welcoming TD there to encourage them. Their TDs always seem so busy and so, stressed out. And like, how do you think if everyone was like this first guy that you ran into, more women would be in the room?
I think it has a big part. And also remember, so here in Europe, you just can't walk into a casino. So there's always a front desk where you need to check in, show your ID, just to make sure you're old enough, right, to get into the casino. So even having information there and helpful employees there is a help. But also, advertising, because a lot of advertising that we see, I would also have to say it's very focused on men, right?
Right.
So I think also these ladies only events help as well, right? So then you see, okay, we're having, you see there's after work poker every night, but then all of a sudden you see, oh, it's after work poker with the prize for last woman standing. For me, I think that's also an incentive to give the message to women that yes, you are welcome. Please come by, please try it out. And again, like you mentioned, to have very helpful and knowledgeable staff on site is also a plus.
I know that the WPA has been talking about having a representative at different tournaments around the world to welcome women in and just show them how to get started and stuff like that. I mean, obviously, coronavirus put a damper on that and sort of a hold on that, but I think that's one of the things they want to see happen in the future. Um, I have I don't know, as another podcast I listened to, you have had some experience playing in Macau.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I try to have to get my dates. So I played in Macau when the City of Dreams still had the Poker Stars themed room. So I was there a lot, like 2012, 2014. Um, I loved it there. I mean, the action was great. The atmosphere is unlike anywhere else. And the City of Dreams room is crazy. You're upstairs and then you're connected to a food court. So you have many food options. And again, the staff there, top class, they answer your questions. If they see you stopping, looking at the board, they come up, oh, how can we help you? So yeah, so maybe maybe this is a key that I never thought of before. Like all the rooms I liked, they always had like the best staff, the most helpful staff, and always more welcoming than other casinos. But unfortunately now in Macau, they never reopened since COVID. So after the City of Dreams poker room closed in Macau, you could still play at the Venetian. It was under the branding Poker King Club. You also see that logo associated with the Triton poker tour. But to my knowledge, I always ask them, they still haven't reopened the poker room. So playing in Macau, unfortunately, you can't do at the moment. Hopefully they can bring back tournaments somewhere. I know they were working on it before COVID hit because I was living in Hong Kong and was playing with the Hong Kong Poker Players Association. But at the moment, unfortunately, it's not possible in Macau.
You were in Hong Kong before COVID hit?
I was there when COVID hit.
Oh, wow. So
we,
you were there living there?
yes, and we had to leave. So we were on the second to last flight out of Hong Kong before they closed the border.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So
So
you were there just for poker? Is that what you
For
were
my
there for?
husband's job. For my
Oh,
husband's
okay.
job.
All right. And then
Yeah.
that all that great poker was a good side benefit then.
Yeah. So then having Hong Kong as the base, I was also very fortunate. I went with the Australian poker tour, APT,
Mhm.
to Sanya in China. So that's one of the largest poker tournaments in the world outside of the WSOP. And usually they don't really have foreigner groups. And in 2019, they invited the Australian Poker Tour and their players, and I went with them. So that was amazing. And a lot of the Macau players were there.
And that was a big tournament series. And
Yes.
did they have a ladies event? Did they have a women's event at that
Yes, they
series?
did.
Oh,
Um,
good.
so I believe there was about 40 women who turned out. So again, a lot of those women, they were also, trying to play in the satellites to the main event, etc. So there was more women than 40 at the festival, but due to scheduling, only 40 played in the ladies only event.
That's great. Um, it says you're a core team member of the Hertz Club. Tell us what that
Done.
is. I'm going to put a link in the chat if anyone wants to look at it, which
Okay.
would be Stuart. But tell us about it.
Yeah, for now, just three. So the Hertz Club, it's a club founded by Natalie Holf and Mila Monroe, and it's based in Germany. So they do have two different study calls. So the German call, which is every Wednesdays, and then the English call, which I run, which is every Thursdays. So we're a group of women, we're a community, we play a league, we have these study calls, we help each other study, we have pro guests come into the calls, really help us. And in August, we had our first festival. And going back to your original question, about TDs being helpful, having staff helpful on the ground, with our Hertz Festival, we did have Sandro at Grand Casino Asch in the Czech Republic. He was very supportive of our group, and 50% of the ladies who came with us never played live before, but because we had this environment, we had the welcome party for the Herzdammen, we had special events. Sunday morning, we had like a champagne brunch and a special Queens tournament. The ladies really wanted to come. And now I think most of them have the bug now to play more live poker.
Oh, I think I remember seeing a picture of that on Facebook. It looked like it was super fun. Like it looked like it was really good. So are you gonna try to make this an annual event or even more than annual? And is it only open sort of for local women, or is it open for women from other countries to come and visit and play and be part of?
Yeah, so according to the laws, we couldn't make it women only. So it was a festival open for everyone, but focusing on the women. And we actually had Felix Schneiders from PokerStars and The Grind. He came with us. Some other famous German grinders came with us as well. And anyone could play. So even if you weren't a Herzdammen member, if you knew about the festival or were playing at Grand Casino Asch that weekend, you were welcome to play with us. We're hoping to make it a semi-annual event. And this time it was mainly only women from Germany, Switzerland, and Austria due to travel constraints, due to COVID restrictions in August. So we're hoping that the next one will be bigger and better because we're hoping the restrictions get even more relaxed.
Yeah, it sounds like something that could really grow. Like that
Yes.
it can only get bigger like I said, if our restrictions get more relaxed and travel sort of opens up and people become more comfortable traveling. You've been traveling a bit lately. You were recently at King's Casino,
Yes.
right? In Roswitha?
Yes.
Yeah. And how does it feel traveling? Like, and how is it still restricted? What rules are in place? Like we know the WSOP is having a lot of rules this summer in place.
Mhm.
What's it like to travel to King's Casino where you are?
Yeah, so King's Casinos in Czech Republic, so it's right on the German border. So I am fortunate enough I can drive there. It's about 6.5 hours drive by car. And there I stayed at their hotel And to check in, I needed to show either my vaccine card or a negative test. And then they recorded it in the system, and they did that for all guests. Czech Republic has very low cases at the moment, and therefore you didn't have to wear masks inside. But you know, it's still the biggest casino in Europe. So being there Friday, Saturday, there was just so many people. And to be honest, you know, being at home the whole time during lockdown, you know, only doing, you know, small events or going to work meetings with maybe like 10, 20 people, to be in that room with like 500, 600 people, it was just a little bit overwhelming for me, I would have to say.
Bit of culture shock there, like
Yeah.
just
Like, oh my gosh.
We got excited a couple of weeks ago when we had 6 people playing here in a tournament.
Yeah, I'm going to the WSOP, and I don't know how I'm going to feel in that big crowd and the big rooms, and just to be in that sort of atmosphere again after a year and a half or over a year and a half.
Yeah.
So tell me about your Globetrotting Poker Ladies Facebook group, and what's the sort of what's it for? How many members do you have? And
Yeah. So I started the Globetrotting Poker Ladies group in 2016, because when I was at the WSOP in Las Vegas, a lot of the American girls were asking, you know, what's happening in your side of the world, and realized there's really, at that time, 2016, there was really no one advertising apart from the providers themselves, you know, what's happening all over the world. So I started the group just to push out information. You know, when the EPT is having the ladies events, when Switzerland was having their championship, for example, and then other ladies events to advertise. And then I also wanted the group to find travel partners, right? So I don't know about you, Kim, but like for me, you know, if I travel, I would love to have a travel partner. I'm okay traveling alone, but I think it's more fun going with someone. And then also when it comes down to expenses, you know, to share the price of the room, or maybe some taxis. And then also, you know, you have someone to hang out with, because especially in Europe, I would say it's very male dominant here. And I'm not saying, you know, the guys are mean or whatever, but, you know, they're guys, and, you know, sometimes they have different interests than I do. And I like to have, you know, other women to hang out with after poker. So that was the main driver of that group. Then it has evolved a little. During Corona, I had a lot of information about closures. I was actually at King's Casino at the table when I found out, this was March 2020, when I found out that they were closing the border. And basically, everyone had to like surrender their chips and like leave. So yeah.
wow. Yeah. Or else
Yeah.
you wouldn't get out of there.
Exactly. So March 2020, I started posting more and more, you know, announcements, you know, this poker room's closing, this poker room has these restrictions, and more guys wanted to join the group. And I said, look, like, you know, I like having guys who support the ladies, but also I think the ladies need a space, you know, without the men in there, that we can like talk and discuss. So then that's why I also started the second group, Globetrotting Poker, which is open to everyone, where I highlight certain tournaments around the world, also still some of these closures, reopening of casinos, and just posting about poker in the global light. I mean, it kind of irks me. Okay, I know poker comes from America, but you know, they always forget about us outside of the US. Also, I think they forget the Canadians sometimes.
Right.
So
yeah, I mean, I'm all about the poker travel. I started a poker travel group on RecPoker as well, for that specific reason, so people can make connections to maybe find a roommate or someone to travel with and stuff like that. So as I think that your group on Facebook is going to be, both groups will be super helpful as more things open up again, and we all start to get more comfortable with traveling. And here's this place, these are the restrictions here, or here's this place, they're having a festival, here's what you need to know about this one, and that sort of thing. And it's not just all US focused, right?
yeah.
Like you said. So
Yeah.
I think
And
that's
you know,
awesome.
the US does amazing. You know, the Women's Poker Association, you mentioned them earlier, they do a lot in the USA, also running many ladies only tournaments or sponsoring final table gifts. I think it's all amazing. I do post when there's ladies events in the USA, but also, everything international from Australia to Bucharest, to China, if they have stuff. So all over the world.
Yeah, that's super helpful. So hopefully, and everybody who's watching this will go and join your Facebook groups. I'm certainly, I know I'm a member of the ladies one, and I'm gonna jump onto the other one if I'm not already a member.
Okay, cool.
You like to collect hand and mob flags. So how many do you have? How many different countries do you have?
I think 13.
Oh, nice.
And okay, so again, we're following Hendema rules. I won satellites in countries, but they don't count. So if that counted, it would be like 18. So I have to go back. So it's like, for example, South Korea, I only won a satellite. Malta, I also have only won satellites, never cash. Yeah. And my China final table couldn't be posted. So yeah. But I love collecting. So pre-COVID, they used to have, a flag hunter ranking. I don't know if they're incorporating that ranking again. You never got a prize for it, but it was always fun to see, who has the most flags in one year.
Yeah.
You have a Canadian one yet?
I don't. I
No?
still need to play in Canada.
Yeah. Niagara Falls, yeah.
No, Playground Poker Club. We're gonna have to get you over here for the next big festival they have.
Yeah, when's poker? Because I heard Playground is running cash games. So any announcements of when the tournaments will start again?
Not yet. So I think they're still finding their way with the new passports that have come out to get in, and then running the semantics of running some distanced cash games. But I'm sure they'll be up and running before too long. Their tournaments, because they were becoming one of the premier destinations in North America, really, to go and play poker. So
okay. Yeah, I haven't been there, so it's on my bucket list.
Yeah.
So there, or Deerfoot. I hear Deerfoot a lot because they also host the WSOP circuit.
Yes, I've been to that one. It's great. It's very small. So it's sort of, their poker is spread out into all different rooms. So, but yeah, no, that's a nice place to go as well. It's a beautiful part of Canada as well, and Alberta. So let me just get back to women and being an advocate. You and I are both advocates for women in poker. We'd both like to see more women get into the live poker realm. I know there's more women playing online, obviously, than there is playing live. I mean, it's easier to, especially if you have a young family or something, to jump into an online game. And also, you're not going to face any real, issues with not being welcomed at the tables, right? That you can in live poker. What do you think more women are coming into the game yet? Do you think there's still more that can be done? I know we've talked about having ladies events and promoting those and all of that. Like, do you think there needs to be specific rules at casinos for them to clamp down on any type of abusive verbal behavior at all, or inappropriate behavior? Not just warnings, but to actually, you're out of the poker room sort of thing, like a zero tolerance out there. What is it that's keeping women away from live poker?
Yeah, so I think there's several reasons, and you mentioned a lot of them. So number one, the times, right? So even for the Hertz Diamond Club, a lot of our members are mommies and they have kids. So for our study calls, we have to start, after the kids are put in bed. So we kind of have a late start at 8:30. And I mentioned this to some of the guys. I said, look, your study groups are great, but if you start at 6, then you unintentionally, make it a barrier for the mommies to attend. And just that one sentence opened up a lot of the guys' eyes. They're like, oh my gosh, we never thought about that. I'm like, yeah, so maybe just poll the members, right? And ask them what time would work best for everyone to include the most people. Also, what you said about online poker, most of the Hertz Damen, they play more online because, again, with the kids, online, you can jump in a game at 8. If the kids don't go to bed, you can jump in again at 9. You know, maybe it's not the first game of your choice, but there's always a second or third game running. For the Hertz weekend, we thought about even having a nanny at the property, so that women could bring their kids, so that way, you know, they could have a weekend of live poker to enjoy. But after, you know, discussing internally, it was like, no, we'll just get a babysitter, or, you know, they'll stay home with your dad, and we'll make it a girls only weekend with the poker. But yeah, with women, it's hard, you know, because they're not always, you know, poker only. There's other commitments that they need to juggle. And then, like you said, the third issue of the zero tolerance policy, I think it's also important. You know, even at King's, I was playing in the 660 WSOP event, and this one guy, you know, was totally nasty to me for like no reason. Luckily, I was at a table. 2 guys called him out on it. You know, why are you treating her like that? Like, you know, she didn't do anything. She just sat down and played. But I did have all the chips. I was the table chip leader. So that's what he didn't like. So at least I had supportive guys at the table call out his behavior. For me, it wasn't, it was like borderline calling the TD, right? Because he didn't call me names. He didn't do something uber aggressive. He was just like, you know, being a jerk and, you know, making side comments. So again, maybe I should have called the TD, but it wasn't, you know, something really offensive. And I actually made a comment after he got kicked out. I said, guys, you know what? Everyone says, why don't we have more women in poker? I said, he is a really good reason that keeps women away sometimes, right? You really need to sometimes have a thick skin, be able to shut off all the comments and just play your game. But I would have to say, you know, it is a distraction. So I think rooms that have a zero tolerance policy are also good. Also, you know, bankroll management or opportunities to develop a bankroll, I think, are also important. So, you know, at the Hertz Festival, the buy-ins were around 60 euros to 80 euros. So we had much more women playing. When I was at the WSOP, where the WSOP circuit, where the buy-ins were 550 and then the main event was 1700, I think there was only about 10 ladies who played the main event at 1700. So, and I think many of these ladies are talented, but again, you know, you have other responsibilities. You just can't fork out 1700 euros to play the main event. So I also think opportunities for talented women who are crushing to play in these events would also be more helpful.
Right. Yeah, I think so. I think that's a good point. Okay, so Stu, you got anything you'd like to ask Maureen?
Sure. I think you've answered a couple of them through that anyway. So would you rather play in ladies, or would you like the mixed men and women? Because I know a lot of the women I know, they don't like playing just women tournaments. They'd rather have mixed.
Yeah, I like to play both. So again, for the World Series of Poker circuit that just happened, the ladies event was great because, you know, we sat around, you know, played poker. I was with the girls, we were having fun, etc. Then if I compare it to all the other events I played, most of the time, no one talked to the table because of the language barriers, you know, and everyone was so serious. So I do like to play both. And unfortunately, by nature, if given the choice, I would maybe go for an open event if it had a large guarantee. So that's one thing with the ladies event. They don't really have large guarantees. Like there was a 25K guarantee once for a circuit event, but you're not going to get the million guarantee that you get if we have an open field.
Right. The other question, your favorite places to play?
Yeah, so if I could go back in time, Macau City of Dreams would be my number one. I really like playing at King's, and I really like playing at Cannes in southern France. They usually host the WSOP circuit.
Right. And another question, I watched an interview the other night that you had, and you were talking about dealing And, you know, when you play in little bar leagues, how bad they are at dealing, and it was kind of funny. But we have a league in Toronto where the tournament director actually did a dealing score. So more than half the people that play in the Toronto league actually got certified as dealers. So they made it really good. So they have a dealer at every table in the bar league, and they switch it up, and there's special events for just the dealers and stuff. So you can learn how to deal and shuffle properly.
And play at the same time.
And at the same time, yeah. And I was wondering, do you deal mixed games, or is it just Hold'em?
They do have me deal Omaha from time to time, but I really stink at calculating the pot.
Right.
That's what's holding me back, you know. And I always ask, and that's why, you know, when players at the table, you know, if we're playing Omaha and they kind of get frustrated with the dealer, I'm like, just leave them think, you know, that there's a method. And you know, I think I have a lot of patience with dealers at the casinos for that reason too, because I know how hard it is to calculate the pot.
Like I deal horse, like I was certified to deal horse, and that you really have to constantly think. You can't interact with the players as much, because as soon as your mind goes off, you forget what you're doing. Or, it is tough. People don't realize how tough it is on dealers. You know, they make one mistake and everyone, you know, flies off the handle.
Yeah, exactly. And again, if I'm at your table, I'm the first one, you know, to say, okay, just call the floor, you know, or like when players start screaming, and like if the dealer, everyone's screaming at the dealer, I'm like, guys, cut it out, like call the floor, like stop it. So yeah, but that's pretty cool that for the bar league, they train the dealers. But in Switzerland, they don't, but like they could use it, yes.
And there was actually an online test to become a tournament director too. Like like 20 questions or something, and it's pretty simple, but you know, it was fun. Yeah.
Now, thanks, Stu. Yeah, that's good. We got 2 dealers in the room. I haven't played at any of your favorite places, and you haven't played at mine, the Irish Open. You have to get to the Irish Open. It is one of the best places to play.
Yeah, and I always see you and Elizabeth and June and Stuart always advertising, you know, come with us, you know, come with the Canadian group. I just couldn't get it to fit into my schedule. So hopefully 2022 I can go, because yeah, it just seems like poker at its best, everyone having fun, and also huge guarantees.
And really not really expensive buy-ins. Like some of the buy-ins are really low, and there's lots of satellites to be had. So, you know, there's something for everyone. That's for sure. I remember
and a ladies event.
They had a ladies event. The one year it was sponsored by Party Poker, and we all got jackets, and we had cupcakes and champagne, and we had a televised final table, and it was very exciting. So yeah, so that was really more of those sort of things to bring women out would be would like really increase the numbers. So yeah. What else? I had something else I wanted to ask you. Now I can't, now it's gone from my head, but we probably kept you up for enough time today. Where can people reach you if they want to reach you? Twitter, Facebook?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter. My email address is also on Twitter. So I'm MJ Bloch on Twitter. And then 2 groups, Globetrotting Poker Ladies, Globetrotting Poker. And then also the Hertz Diamond Club is free to all women. So if you want to stop by a session that we have, you can also find us on Twitter.
And those are at what time of day? Because I know it's a little different from us over here in the Americas, but.
Right. So actually we start, it's a European centric time. So we start at 8:30 p.m. Berlin time, which is 2:30, I believe, your time.
Okay. Yeah.
In Canada. Yeah.
Yeah. And you do that once a month?
Oh, we do it weekly.
Oh, weekly. And it's open to everyone.
Women, yes.
Yeah, it's open to any women that wants to join. So we would join the Hertz Diamond Club first and then join that. And the information for that is on Facebook. Is that correct?
Yeah, Facebook and Twitter, we have the
Okay.
information.
And
Yes.
under the Hertz account or under
Yeah,
your
Hertz
account?
Club. Yeah.
Okay. And all right, I will.
Hertz Club on Twitter. And Hertz is just a German word for Queen of Hearts.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
excellent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
well, I'll certainly be checking that out. And so hopefully some of our listeners, our other women listeners here will come up and check that out. We'll get some more of an international flair in there.
Yeah, perfect. We do have some Canadian girls joining us, some Americans, but again, we realize it's a European centric time. But again, there's not much in Europe for the ladies, so we kind of want to keep that time.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think we've run our time today. We've kept you for about 45 minutes. Thank you so much for joining us. I really hope to see you again soon at one of these festivals. I'm sorry to hear you won't be coming to Las Vegas this year. And I will definitely keep you in the loop if Playground Poker Club opens up and has another WPT event or something like that there, and we can do a RecPoker meetup.
Yes, that sounds awesome. Thank you again for having me. As I said, I really miss those RecPoker home games. They were awesome. I just can't play for stupid country legal reasons. But yeah, let me know about Canada. And then if not, we meet each other in Ireland for the Irish Open.
That sounds like a great plan. Thank you, Stu, for coming.
I just want to say Elizabeth was trying to get on just to say a quick hi because she just finished work. I don't know.
Well, did she join?
She's trying
to join.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right. Well, I'm going to stop the recording and give her about 2 minutes to jump on.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.